Libby Jonson from
Hey,
Truly
everybody.
Myrtle with us. And actually, you and I sort of, we both channeling the same hairdos today.
Big hair today.
Yeah, big
hair.
hair today because I had mine tied up after I'd washed it. And I'm calling this the Regrowth Marathon.
Oh, I haven't quite got to that. I'm just sprouting grey. I'm sprouting grey with all the stress. So I've definitely got greys coming, but I've never dyed my hair. So it's going to be an interesting change.
Yeah. Well, I sort of, I get them right in here.
I think that's, I'm starting to too. I noticed in one of my last pattern photos, the silver highlights. I was like, oh, my grandfather will be proud.
Yeah.
He had a thick head of, the silver fox, they used to call him, thick head.
Yeah.
I have his cowlicks, so I'm halfway there. Hey, everybody, lovely to see you. I can see you all
morning. I know
hi.
everyone's here. It's great. So, yes, so welcome along Monday. So it's Monday. I've just a new location today. I've decided to. I actually got out of bed.
Mum said she tuned into you the other day. She said Marie was in bed. She was actually feeling quite pleased for you. Actually, that whole thing.
I just sort of. It was a moment where it was the one place in the house that I could find that was quiet.
Yeah, well,
had good light. Because had good light, and I could sort of at least get stuff done. And then I'm still in the bedroom now, but at least I'm off to the side. And I got out of bed because I've been at it since 6:30. So I do quite like the bed office, as I call it, the bed office. Bed office.
Oh, that's rather nice.
I have my little thing that I sit my laptop on, and
that's rather clever, Marie, isn't it?
I know.
See, I've moved to 2 screens. I'm one of those people now that has 2 screens at my desk, and I just can't cope without 2 screens. I feel a bit. I never thought I'd be that person.
Now, are you still in your little cupboard, or are you sort of?
No, I've left the cupboard. The cupboard is now a bathroom. Thank goodness the cupboard is a bathroom, because now we have no other bathroom. I have one bathroom that's very tiny in the cupboard, and a black hole with the whole bathroom ripped out. And
so that's the big bathroom's gone.
It's completely gone. It's just like concrete and
how many are residing in the house at the moment?
5 currently.
Oh, right, excellent. 5 big people, excellent.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. We have our extra that was living with us last year. I think he's going to move back in. I think it's all a bit tricky, but so there are 5 currently. And they're mostly girls, so there's a lot of showering that happens about.
Yeah, and then you get that whole sort of like synchronization thing that can often happen when women live together. Yeah. And then poor old Bren. Bren will head for the hills. That's where you see him go down to the bottom of the paddock. Where's Dad? He's down there.
No, he's off there with a chainsaw demolishing something. That's what happens generally.
Chainsaw! Gosh, that's my dad and my brother. I said to Mum actually, I don't know how many of you have got this at home, but I was talking to my mum and I said, because I call my father Ross. Long story, won't go into it. But I said to Mum, so what's Ross? I can hear something. What's Ross doing? Oh, your father's out with the chainsaw again.
I grew up with a dad like that. My dad was always up a ladder, just permanently up a ladder, and he built the upstairs of our house. Mum and Dad they still have a house that I turned 1 in, actually. It's a big old brick villa, and he built the upstairs, and it took a lot, like years and years. He almost single-handedly built this room upstairs, which Mum didn't realize was going to be a room. She thought it was going to be like a little cottage upstairs, but she was too scared to climb the ladder to see what was actually happening. And eventually, when the stairs went in, she got up there and she was like, Sam, what is this? I thought we were going to have a couple of bedrooms. And he's like, no, it's just one big room. It's amazing. He loved it, this big room. But he spent my life up. God. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah, the digs. Oh, so good to see everyone here. Mel is asking. She's asking, I love the cardi, Marie. It looks a bit hedgehog fibery. Well, the cardi is, I've dusted off my rebel. Yeah, especially because Libbo's here. And it isn't hedgehog actually, and I think I haven't even caught because the chat's been moving so fast this morning. This is Sue Goodley from Sue's Hand Dyed Yarns, which is one of our and she's one of our local dyers here in Hawke's Bay, and this is one of hers.
I love that. It's your colours completely, isn't it? Fantastic.
it's very me, and it's and I have to say this time of year, I don't know what the weather's like being up in South Auckland, but to be fair, the weather so far with the lockdown has been glorious here. So we've been having very, very cool mornings and evenings, but absolutely stunning, beautiful, fine days. So this is just been perfect just to chuck on, and perfect weight. Yeah.
We've been having much the same. It's sort of, it's not cold. It's just sort of nice. It's not kind of thick, jumpy weather. It's cardy weather. Although I still put my little merino singlet on because I do like being warm. But it is nice with a little light jumper. I actually was out in the garden yesterday and I was in a t-shirt, which was just, I was digging away and pulling out weeds and things, but I was in a t-shirt.
And it's, and I was talking to Paul and Julie from the Hoolies yesterday, and we were talking about those things that you have to do just during this period of time to keep your head in a good headspace. And as you said, you've got the garden. And I know that when I texted you the other day when I was having a particularly day, and so just people, so they know, Libby said her reply to me was a photograph of a wheelbarrow full of chicken shit. And she's like, I've been cleaning out the chicken coop. It's like, okay, no, my day's not that bad. I haven't been in doing that.
She had a really good time. But no, you're right. I think what I'm finding is I just turn it all off. I just need no noise for a bit. I need no more voices in my head, no more noise. And I just go outside.
Yeah.
And we are lucky. We have lots of space here and I have a big garden and everything needs doing right now. So I need, one of my kids yesterday was feeling a bit low. And I said to her, just come with me. Here's a pair of loppers. And I just took her down to an apple tree and she just hacked an apple tree. I said, can't really go too wrong. It just needs pruning. So she just prune. And I said to her afterwards, you feel a bit better? Yeah, she did. She did feel a bit better. Yeah. Chop at the apple tree.
There is something cathartic about it. So cleaning was, for me, I find cleaning very cathartic. I was up quite early yesterday and did a massive, huge, big clean through the house. And it was just incredibly cathartic. So it was quite good. And it is just about finding, that time and giving yourself some space. And knitting has been quite good too. I've actually flipped out. I've been working on shoji, which is quite repetitious. And I actually measured it. I've done about 1.3 meters, which is about which is about halfway of where I need to be because it's like this fold around the origami sort of number. Cool. So I've actually jumped back to something that is so utterly brainless, which is actually just perfect.
I think, I think that can be key. I think just doing something that you just don't have to think too hard about. I think you said to me before, have you got your knitting? And I was like, no, I haven't actually got the knitting because I'm in the throes of I've got to start a new pattern. I've kind of got one going. I really just want to be doing something else, but I have to think. And so today, one of my jobs on my list today was start that, do that, and get some more knitting on my needles because it's just finding the right project for the right moment, isn't it? And I do have things I could be doing that are already whips, but I have these pressing deadlines.
Yeah.
I have to grip my ground, do it.
And deadlines are tough. I hate, that's why I don't do a lot of knit-alongs and stuff with the Speak Easy because, I find deadlines really difficult. I'm not Ethan. I'm not a machine. I mean, he is so disciplined. I am in awe of his discipline. He is incredibly disciplined. But then he did admit he's doing a thing next month where it's a whole finish along, he's calling it.
So he ebbs those.
Exactly. And he's doing this whole finish along where you just finish all the stuff up. And he's doing it because he wants to get everyone tidied up. And then he's doing the Adira knit along with the Hoolies.
Yeah.
And, which is getting people into sort of a summertime kind of pattern. And so that's what inspired me to get this out because this is what I was knitting during lockdown last time.
Yeah. That's a really good idea. Just grabbing something else because it doesn't feel too adventurous. And sometimes I think the last thing we're feeling at this time is adventurous. It's just please, just give me something I know for a bit, please, and something I can just do easily. So that's good. Oh no, I run my knit-alongs. I'm really bad at giving people well, I'm not really bad. I'm really good at not giving people deadlines for knit-alongs because I find it really off-putting if I know I have to do it by a deadline as well. I just like to I do have a lot of deadlines and so just one more. I don't need one more deadline. But yeah, we keep them kind of loose and free. Feels quite good.
Well, you never want to get to the point where it feels like a chore.
Mm-mm.
Something that we should love and enjoy. And
Yeah.
so it's really good. So wardrobe toolbox. I mean, what's been happening with toolbox? So that kicks off again when?
September. Yes, we're just wrapping up season 3, and I'm just about to open the doors for season 4 in September. So they always open every March and every September on the 18th of the month. So I'm gearing myself up ready for that. And I've worked out what I'm going to do for people that are joining when we look back at the old seasons. Because previously, when people have joined the new season, you join for the monthly payment. And then you have got the opportunity to grab season 1 or season 2 along the way. And I just am starting to feel like season 1, season 2, and season 3 is an enormous amount of content. So what I think I'll do this time is I'm going to scoop the best of, and I will have that available as well. So if people do want to get 1, 2, and 3, they can. But there will also be this sort of slightly bumper
like the greatest hits.
The greatest hits
of the
wardrobe. It will be the greatest hits so far, and it'll just be those 3: the best of the patterns, and the best of the lessons, and the best of the masterclasses. The masterclasses have been awesome, and it's going to be really hard to pick my favorite people that have come on to chat with us. But I think what I'll do is I'll go back to all the existing toolboxes, and I'll just say, what do you love? Tell me what you love, and we'll put it together. But the 18th, the doors open again. And just like normal, it'll roll over month to month to month. So you can just join and see if you like it. And after a month, you're not committed to stay. I'm really conscious at the moment that people need to be able to get out of these things. Yeah. So you can just join and then tick along and stay as long as you like. It's really fun over there. We have a really lovely supportive group. It's a good place to be. And I am constantly thrilled when people tell me how much they've learned and what they're doing and how much more of a boss they feel about their knitting. So it really is a good place if you want to get to grips with how your body works and how you want to dress it and how to make things feel good on you. It's a really good place to do that. So yeah, we're all kicking off again. It opens in September for an October start. So.
I just know even in our retail store and online store, the number of people that come to us with projects and they feel so empowered to try something that they've not tried before, like they've really, whether it be knitting in the round or trying out a new technique, or I had someone who was in the other day who was doing a dolly, and they were worried they'd picked actually the Mahani yarn that you have been playing around with it. I said the new Mahana Fine, and she was really worried because, of course, it's such a fine yarn. It's a classic. It is a light fingering weight. It is very fine, two-fold twist. So, of course, she was knitting it in the stocking stitch. And if you've ever knitted a yarn like that, guys, in a stocking stitch, it can look a little bit kind of bubbly before it's blocked. And she's like, "This just looks awful. I've never, and she's used to knitting four plies, which are fourfold, smooth and more tubular, that have even pre-blocked a nice looking finish." And she's like, and she'd done the first time she'd ever done the color work. She'd picked her yoke colors beautifully. She had the right pops. They were looking fantastic. And I said to her, "No, give it to me." And I grabbed it and I toddled down to the back of the warehouse and cranked the jug up, flipped the lid off, because we didn't have the steamer wasn't at work at that time. Got the jug going and actually just popped some of the knitting over the top of the jug and had the steam run through it. And it's like magic, and took it back down. And you could see this ring, but just everything just smoothed out. And as I said to her, with a wet block, this will look amazing. And what you've done, she goes, "Oh, well, the colour works." The colour works fabulous.
They'll be
Don't
lovely
sell
in
yourself short.
No, it's the second guessing yourself all the time. I do it too all the time. But I'm pretty thrilled about the idea that people are feeling just a bit more kind of ballsy about going for it. That really gives me a thrill, because that's how I've come at my crafting always, and I love it that people can feel some of that as well. So that's fantastic. But that yarn will make a beautiful floozy. I've been playing around with some, and it blooms absolutely beautifully. Yeah, it does. And it'll be very warm, but it'll be lovely and light. It'll be such fine, quite a graceful knit, I think.
That's what we did it, because we've sort of had really, with the Surrey one has gone really well, which is even slightly finer again. So we wanted just something in between. Now, Debbie's asking, do you have to keep up with knitting in the toolbox, and are there material requirements?
No, it's a totally do it at your pace, Debbie. So what happens is something happens every week. I've played with it along the way based on people's feedback, and hopefully we've found a happy balance now with enough stuff that people want if they always want to be busy, and enough stuff that people who can just dip in when they need to. I do a lesson every month that has videos lessons, and sometimes they're a little longer, sometimes they're short, but you just know you can tuck them away. You don't have to do anything with them then. We always have a question and answer session, so you can just pop along and there's a video, and I answer your questions and show you how to do things. We have a masterclass guest that comes every month. So someone will come in and do a fantastic lesson with us. We had a wonderful session just this last week. We had Selena from Wool & Pine. I don't know if you know her. She's in America. It's just so bubbly and enthusiastic. It was wonderful to have her. And she talked about all our scraps and really stash busting. And that, I think, everyone was just thrilled with that masterclass. And then we have a knit night, which is really fun. And then we'll have other things in the lounge, which is like our meeting place on Facebook, like our group. And you can join in, or you don't have to join in, but you know that you just do it at your pace. I'm good at someone's saying I'm good at giving them short deadlines. That's only for testers, because I'm constantly chasing my tail. But yeah, it was a really lovely masterclass, wasn't it? Ruth's saying it was. She enjoyed that too. Yeah, so it's not like school. It's school done your way. It's a resource for you. A lot of it, you can just come along, bring your knitting, just chill out, watch me chat, watch someone else chat, listen to the lessons, and then feel a little bit more empowered about going out there and, yes, I'm gonna do this.
Well, yeah, I've done a couple of sessions with you.
You have.
It's just and it is really, it is loads of fun. And I find too, you forget, like, you have these repositories of knowledge. You're always learning. I learn stuff all the time. Like, it doesn't matter whether I'm around you or Ethan. There's always little nuggets that you pick up and you think, I didn't know that. I like that. Oh, I'm going to do that. That's very good. You know, you always get nuggets, but you also forget how much knowledge. I mean, I forget how much knowledge is locked in here, and how you can get that knowledge out to other people, because you sometimes think, oh, you're being a bit repetitious. You know, am I saying the same thing again and again and again? But you've got to remember that there are always new people listening and new people trying stuff, and it's just so important, you know.
And there's also different ways of saying things. I think that's the other thing. People hear things in different ways, and sometimes you might have heard something, and then but you're not ready to hear it yet. You're not up to it. And so someone will say something, you think, oh, I know that, but tell me again, because I wasn't really catching it last time. And then there's also times, particularly when times feel stressful, where actually it's really good to hear stuff you already know, because it just validates you, and you just think, oh, thank goodness, I do know something after all. So there's lots of ways of telling people the same thing. However, we do cover tons of different things in Wardrobe Toolbox as well. There are things that we're always going to come back to, looking at our own individual shape and working out, what do I need to do to that knitting pattern to actually make it look great on me and to feel really good in it. So we go back to that a lot, because our shapes don't actually, they actually change quite a bit. Yeah. And we can tackle different parts at different times too. So we might master our necklines, and then we're like, what am I going to do with my shaping in my bottom half or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Tamsin's asking, how many patterns come with the toolbox?
Well, the seasons run it's a 6-month season, and you'll get a pattern every second month. So there are 3 patterns that come with the toolbox. You'll get one in the first month, and then the 3rd month, and then the 5th month. I think that's right. We've just had one. Yeah, that's right. They roll along every second month, and there are a variety of things. So you'll always get at least one garment, but you'll probably get a shawl. We've just had a pair of socks. I think, and one season I did a summer top and a cardigan. So it'll just be, I am really open to, very flexible about what people are wanting. So at one point, everyone was saying to me, we want a V-neck summer top. And I was like, I'm giving you a V-neck summer top then. And so I'm open to suggestions. As long as you give me some lead time, I can do it. So yeah, you get 3 with every season.
Oh no, it's just, as I said, I've known so many people that have come in, and it is definitely well worth it. So do make sure they check it out. That is trulymyrtle.com. They find
you
details
can link
there.
over from there, but you can just go straight to wardrobetoolbox.com as well, and you can find it there. Yeah, there's a whole big, yeah. Joanne's saying she loved the masterclass on making jewelry and accessories. Yeah, so we don't just stick to knitting either. We look at all sorts of things that you can employ for your handmade wardrobe. So we did bra making one season and all sorts of really fun things.
Like I know Julie, she then went off and she has made bras. So Julie, who I had on yesterday, is just amazing.
It's been really good. Yeah, and all the patterns are absolutely brand new. They're unique to Wardrobe Toolbox. They're launched for you, and they're yours for at least a year before I release them out to anybody else. Yeah,
so it is definitely. So if you're looking for something to give you that bit of boost or a wee bit more confidence, it is just definitely a great thing to do. It is lots and lots of fun. Yeah, we've been just sort of trucking along. As I said, I sent Libby up the new Mahana, which is this is the thing, of course, that breaks my heart going into lockdown, is that we've had all these new things and I've barely had a chance to talk about it, but that's all right.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
And so there are still some really lovely yarns coming out, and that particular yarn I'm quite excited for, because it is a yarn, I think, as you said, it will give a beautiful light fabric and it'll be perfect for summer knits. I'm finding more and more now that people are, how like in the old, traditionally people would knit garments and stuff across the winter, and then they might do some baby or a shawl or something in the summer, or just put knitting away altogether. Whereas I'm finding people are knitting garments year round now, and they're not afraid to knit for a summer wardrobe or a transitional wardrobe in the spring and the autumn. Are you finding that?
Yes, definitely. Far more people wanting summer knits and knits that can carry them through. Yeah.
But cotton is a funny thing for me. Like we talk about cotton all the time at work. Do we want to do a cotton? Do we get a cotton in? And every time we have, I think when it comes to garments, cotton's I
find it really hard on my hands too.
Yeah,
actually. I think cotton, I find that it's just not a comfortable knit. It can feel like you're knitting rope when you're knitting linen, but it doesn't hurt my hands in the same way. And the other thing I'm really conscious of with cotton is that, if you make anything like a sweatshirt, you get these baggy arms, baggy and droopy, and I think you can make it work, but but you can get a lot out of using something that has a wool blend, and they can be all through. I think some of my most worn transitional pieces are 50-50 wool, some other plant fiber. So whether it's got bamboo or whether it's got silk, those tend to be my sweatshirt style things, and they hold together pretty well because of the wool.
Yeah, they're also processing linen now too, because I know that I've knitted with some linen and hemp in the past, and it's literally like knitting twine. It's been awful. Whereas now, as you said, with the additional sort of plant natural animal fiber in there, it does actually help. I think you need it there just to give it a little bit more structure and give, and I
think so. It doesn't fall apart quite the same.
No, it doesn't. Oh, here we go. This is Michelle is asking. She's been in since season 1. Is there a way of the patterns themselves being available in Rav as opposed to going back to the app each time?
Yeah, something I haven't done is make them available on Ravelry. It's just a manpower issue, really, because there are so many people in Wardrobe Toolbox. We've just kept it off Ravelry at this stage. But what we do is talk about ways to keep them yourselves. I strongly recommend that everybody has their own patterns in their own libraries anyway, off any platform. Just you have a file on your computer, or if you like to print them out, but you might use Dropbox or somehow keep them in a cloud.
Google Drive's another one you can use.
Yeah, I do recommend that, because none of this stuff is permanent. And so I haven't actually got them in Ravelry. They go on Ravelry eventually, but it hasn't been something I've done for Wardrobe Toolbox.
Very good. So what else? So how are you keeping occupied? Because you've got a house full, you've got Bren, you've got the kids. How's it all go? What are you doing to? I mean, you're busy. Bren's working from home and has been pretty much since the last.
He has never gone back really.
No, and now you've got like not
kids
little kids home,
moaning
kids
about
home.
school.
Yeah. So how's that working? Because I mean, that's lots of people with internet connections and all trying to do stuff. Is it a challenge?
The internet connection is a challenge, and also just the thing I find with the kids is the big kids are okay. They can kind of keep themselves occupied. My biggest one is in year 13. The one that's at home is in year 13. She knows what she has to do, and she can get on with it. I think those teenagers find it all a bit more difficult mentally, though. All of this staying at home stuff. So that's a challenge, is to try and get them out of their rooms and actually doing something else. So there's that. The younger two are a little bit like, what am I even supposed to do? And my 14-year-old said to me the other day, she said, last time in lockdown, I don't think I learned anything. And she said, I just had checklists to do. And so I said to her, well, maybe this time we do something different. So you could join in the classes and do what they say. But I said to her yesterday, actually, if you could do anything right now, what would you do? And she said, I love history. I was saying, what kind of history? And she said, I love finding out how people live. So then, of course, my mind is like, well, once upon a time, I went to the British Museum and I couldn't believe all the jewelry that people wore right back to the beginning of time. They've always worn jewelry. It really blew my mind, this extraordinary jewelry. Maybe you want to think about, is there something like that? So anyway, her imagination just took off. And now she wants to knit a jersey. So there we are. I don't know how we got there. But I think just keeping them feeling like they still love learning is actually what my goal is right now, so that they're not put off and it doesn't feel too dry. But for me, it's really good to be able to get outside, because I just can have too much of sitting in front of the computer. So I've been getting out and mulching around all my fruit trees, and like you said, cleaning out my chicken coop. And we've been digging up part of our veggie garden, because it's time to put seeds in. I've got tomatoes and courgettes and things like that I want to start the seeds off at the moment. So I've been trying to get outside, because the space and it just makes me feel good.
Yeah, I've got a sort of porch area here that got covered actually a few months ago, which is really good timing, because it got done. And I did the Paul and Julie live from out there, and I was going to do ours out there, but it was too cold this morning. It was actually a bit colder. So it was nice to sort of, and we finished that and we had lunch, and then we ended up decamping out there. Like, I just took all my stuff out there and just sat out there and watched the cat be an idiot and the dogs, and just chill, and then drag the kids around the block for a bit of a family walk with the dogs. So that was always a really good way to sort of move things along and get them done. Now, what are you wearing? Because I can see a little halo and fuzz there. What's going on?
Yeah, this is Kapua. So this is one of the knits I did for Pacifico, and it's actually Shibui yarns. It's two skeins held together. So this is a nice example of holding a lace weight with a mohair. And it comes out as more or less a fingering. And this cardigan, this is my cheats cozy cardigan. So I feel like you kind of in your jammies, but when you put this cardigan on, it's so lovely and soft. But she's a really pretty kind of cardigan.
Actually, that cardigan would go really well with our Whisper Fine and Pearl Luster. That would be
it would actually. Yeah. And I think you would probably pick up a little more of that
detailing
in it as well. It's got plain, it's just a drop shoulder, it has plain arms, but it has this built-in collar, so it's you knit it up and around. So if I have 3 that are a similar construction, and now I'm going to forget the names, but I can see Amanda's here, so she might remind me. I've got this one, Florrie, and the one with the cables down the front, which is named Piper. Yeah, so they're all 3 of them. I'm really working hard to remember names. I have this strange, very strange ability to remember faces, very bizarre ability. But names I find quite tricky. Yeah, Florrie, that's the other one. And so you start at the back neck. It's knitted top down, but you start with the back, and then you pick up the collar and turn it into the front, because I've knitted ones before where you knit them up and then you knit up, you keep knitting for the collar and then you seam them. And I've done that with top down as well. And I thought there must be a way of doing it where I don't have to seam anything. So so you knit the back and then you pick it up, and then you sort of pick up this T shape and knit it around and then down for the collar. Yeah,
well,
fun.
I know Florrie is one that, because that was knit. Deb got a sample of Florrie knit in Bohemia Light, and it's
someone's just asking, would it be nice in Bohemia Light? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Delicious in Bohemia Light. Absolutely delicious. It's like that ultimate chic. I was in my head yoga person, and it's like, and if you made them a little longer, sort of down to mid thigh, and you could even put sort of pockets on. Oh, absolute heaven! I must do one like that too, actually, because they're so fantastic.
And Piper, see, we had a Piper. The only reason I remember Piper is we had a Piper sample for the longest time because it was knit in Knix. And when before Deb put Knix on hiatus, we had all the last stocks of it, you see. So we had the Piper sample, and that's just glorious too, you know, because it's got that lovely classical long line look. And when you were talking about things before in terms of knitting for fitting, see, I love both Florrie and Piper because they are a style that work really well when you're a bit larger. And I know some, and I talk about this in the masterclass I do with you, they feel really self-conscious about their size. And for some people, they get over it and they have the confidence and they wear it, but a lot of people don't. And those two designs are actually really great designs to be able to give you confidence, because they give you a really lovely long line structure, and you know, and the fit is really good. And Deb's just saying Piper also looks gorgeous in Bohemia as well.
It does. And you had a beautiful one in that Bohemia. I think you're right, Marie, because I think it's these long lines, they really help break up sections of you. It just they feel good, and I think that's across the board. I think people can feel really, you can draw attention to your neck with necklaces and put, but those long lines really work really well.
This is the Rebel's the same. See, I've done this as a crop length because I knew that I'm wearing it with trousers or pants today, but I know that I wear this a lot with a maxi, like dresses, so that's fine. But see, there's absolutely no reason why you can't elongate any of these things. And I think it's reminding people that actually a pattern is often just a guide only. You know, there is a certain amount of interpretation that can go on, and you're allowed to have permission to color outside of the lines.
Please do. I think that's the thing. I pass them over and then they're yours to do what you want with them. And I get such a thrill out of seeing what people do. But then it's also really frustrating because then I see people do amazing colorways and incredible things. And I think, oh, flip, that's better than mine. I should have done it like that. So then I think I need to do another one. But no, these ones are really great. And the other thing that I like them for is I can move in them. And I don't feel like I'm all tied up, and it's lovely to be cozy and warm on a cold day, but on a day where it's sort of in between, I don't want to have all this done up around the front. I want to feel a little more airy. I can yank my sleeves up, and I don't have this thing everything in the front. I just can get on with stuff. So I like things I can just throw on, and no button.
And I'm going to throw this out there, and I know that they're probably going to go at me. You're definitely going to go at me.
Go on then.
DK Timely.
You're supposed to be sending me yarn.
Oh, am I? I thought I had.
No, I've never got the yarn. I know. See,
so it's me now. I'm going to have to edit my mini lists.
Send me yarn, and then I will. Let's do it. DK Timely.
DK Timely.
I do want to. I'm in the mood for some stripes, actually.
Yeah.
Be good.
Oh, see, I've just had an idea.
Oh no, that's all right. We'll talk about that later.
No, because I have sent you yarn. Think about it.
I know. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad the light bulb went off at the same time.
We think the same.
We do think the same. It's all good. Honestly, we've got things cooking, guys. You know, there is for next year. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
A good year. 2022. Bring it on.
Oh, now where have I put it? Is it sitting? Oh no, it's in the basket in the other room. We hope today, we're in the process. I've been on the blower this morning with both Brendan and Claire because we were allowed to, and thank you to Delene, bless her heart, combed through the legislation to check this for me. it's so good that we've got these incredible people like Dal and Kathy and stuff that do stuff for us about being able to receive stock in level 4, which we are allowed to do. Well,
excellent.
So yes, so we've had our Donegal tweed that we've had done. I know. So we've had it done under license specifically for us with Kilcara Yarns in Kilcare and Donegal. And it is just super exciting. And they send half of it out air freight. And of course, the air freight, it landed in Auckland the day after lockdown and then, of course, got freighted down. And we were like, oh, because we have been so excited about this.
Yeah.
I know. So this yarn, so here's your, here we go. So this yarn is woolen spun, classic Donegal tweed, 190 meters per 100 grams. I've swatched it, and its happy place is it will do 18 to 22 stitches, good as gold. 20, so it's a classic Aran, 20 stitches. In the Truly Myrtle collection, for a yarn thus, what do you suggest?
Yeah, because you don't want. I immediately thought something like a nice jumper would be really good.
Yeah, I think serpentine, I think, might be the gauge is too loose.
It might be too, I think it might be too loose. I'm just racking my brains. I was thinking, you know what? In my head over the last few days, as I've been out there in my garden and anticipating staying at home and digging up, growing more food for the foreseeable future, I was thinking I need another whole range of in the garden garments. Is what I need. I need sloppy. And in my head, I keep imagining all these jumpers that I could just throw on and then pick up my wheelbarrow and off.
So the chat is saying Amanda, who obviously knows a lot of them, Phoenix, definitely Phoenix, Amanda. That was
definitely Phoenix. Definitely Hina.
Yep. Oatmeal. Well, of course, oatmeal was on my hit list. I've noted 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
go with
around the around the
I'm always thinking
jumper.
of the next new one, but you guys, you know it.
Yeah, so those are all.
It would actually make a beautiful Phoenix, because you could use it for both the colorways. You could mix it with something else and have a little bit of a change in the color work, so it looked a little different there. That'd look really gorgeous. Oatmeal, and I mean, I was thinking even gingerbread at a push, because it's quite nice on a bigger gauge. You might lose a bit of that lace at the bottom, a bit of the cable-y look at the bottom. But I think it could look pretty good. And you might want to pull in the neck a little bit if you did that style there too for that one. But I've got a blog post about how to do that now, guys, if you want that. And the garden garments got me excited. Yeah, it's just my head has been I think when you get rid of the noise and you can get out somewhere else, all of a sudden all that creativity comes back again, because it's your voice you're hearing again.
So here we go. That's from Helene.
I know. I've been married 25 years. Do I really want to do it now?
I don't know. I think, you could get Brent out there.
I should. It's a big knit, though. He's a big knit. He's very big in the shoulders.
No,
he digs a good hole.
You've not seen what I've been married to. If I can knit for mine, trust me, you can knit for yours.
He's very fussy. Okay, I have actually.
He's very fussy. I love that.
He's very fussy, but he wears my socks happily and my hats. I'll put it to him. But actually, I should just do it anyway.
No, but you know what? No, I think that Helene's question is actually on the money, because if you're talking about round the garden garments,
it's a whole family thing.
Exactly, and I think there is something to be said about even maybe a new take on a classic crew neck.
I think so. Isn't this terrible how I come on and I come away with more work to do? No, it's true. And actually the other thing that I was really inspired the other day listening to the masterclass we had, and I was thinking, I shouldn't even say this out loud, should I? I shouldn't say it out loud, but I was thinking some kids knits would be really good too, actually. I should move into this family.
And the zone from 4 to 5 years to 10 years. Yeah. What do you guys in the chat think? 4 to 10 years is because often you can get stuff like a lot of the infant stuff will go up to 2 years. Yeah. And then there's quite a lot sort of from 2 to 4. And then there's this huge big gap, sort of a primary school age. There's very little in that gap.
Yeah. And also that tween age, that tween because they have a particular taste, and they don't necessarily want to wear mum's jumper, but they want something that's similar kind of size, not too big, not so much bust if they're girls. I'm just reading comments. Yes, please. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, and you could do it like if you're going to. There's also too. I mean, let's. I mean, we're gonna have a spitball brains. Hey, we're going to call this the focus group.
Focus. Okay, right. You're the focus group.
We're now morphed into the Truly Myrtle focus group. There we go. This is good because we've got you all here, captive audience. Let's do this.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Well, no, because how often have I said to you, like, don't reinvent the wheel? Because let's face it, let's look at Stephen West. He is the master of coming up with a wheel and then absolutely spinning that wheel until it can't spin no more. True. And so when you actually look at those sort of Grandy and Kids knits, I think doing a whole tween-age Myrtle collection based on existing Myrtle.
I'd have to ask my kids which ones they would like.
I was just going to say that. Get the kids and, with all the testers and all the kids and all the designs and say, right, what floats your boat? If this was something done in your size or your colour, what floats your boat? And I mean, what floats our boat may be not what floats theirs. I mean, we may be stunned and they turn around and say, ostensibly they want a collection of sloppy Joe type.
Well, relax. Look, I think they do. Well, at least some of mine do. They seem to want. My daughter said to me this morning, she was wearing a sweatshirt. She said, "This is a 3XL." I went, "Yeah, I can see it's quite large." That's her brother's jersey.
I think she had that on when I was at your place recently.
I need to order. I was thinking you could wear one that's a little bit smaller. I think. Anyway, I think she's going to get an XL. She's decided she'll get an XL. But yeah, they definitely just these bigger things, sloppy and comfy and leggings underneath and stuff like that.
Yeah, and comfortable and get really comfortable. Yeah,
I think that's the thing. And someone said about how you get hot in the garden and you're out, but there are plenty of times when you just go for a little wander. I don't know about you, but we have this habit, Mr. Myrtle and I, where we will head out in the evening and we will just go and have a walk around. And we have this route we do every time. We go down and we look at the fruit trees, and then we come around and we check out the chickens and talk about how we probably need more. And then we go around and we look at the next thing. And you need a jumper for that, just to go out in your gumboots and your jumper and poodle around.
A vest. What do you think, guys? A vest in the garden collection.
I actually really would like, and I've been talking about this for ages, just a short sleeve thing. I can wear something stripy underneath. I can just throw it over the top, as well as a little vesty thing would be really.
There you go. Why don't you knit Mr. Myrtle a vest? Then there's no sleeves.
Okay. I have to talk to him about his preference, I think. I can't see him in a vest, but he would wear a sloppy jumper. I'm pretty sure.
He would. Yeah, I could definitely see him in a nice drop-shouldered sloppy jumper, jeans, red bands. He would be quite comfortable with that, I would have thought.
Yeah. And a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd be all...
see that can be part of the collection for our for what we've been.
For the photos, this is going to be funny, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I know. Shrug. Here we go. Tamsin's suggesting a shrug. That's a good idea.
I don't know what I'll have to offer him to get him in a photo. That would be. That is the challenge. Okay.
We've got lots of yests on the vest.
Okay.
A big yes to the vest.
Lots of wardrobe ideas with layers. Yeah, I love layers. A shrug. Tamsin, there's that. I've done the big in the last wardrobe toolbox season, and this one just gone, I did the big outlaw cardigan, which is like a big sloppy shrug. I have lived in that. That has been so nice this year. With
what are they? A cocoon cardigan, I think is what they call them, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what that one is. Yeah, more like rather than a little one. Yeah.
Oh, that I have to tell you that. So in my knit group is Christine, who's got Woolen Things, which is a local yarn store here, just around the corner from us. So people may think this is kind of crazy that there's these two yarn, literally Napier's two yarn stores almost spitting distance away from each other. We like to call ourselves the ultimate in destination cluster shopping, and Christine and I joke that the two of us have this what do we call it, the craft trail, the world's shortest craft trail between her place and ours. So you got it. But anyway, she has, and I haven't seen it finished, but she was knitting outlaw, and she'd gotten the yarn, and she was doing a Rowan yarn, and what was the other, and she double stranded it, but they were in a marl, so she'd done it as quite a distinctive marl, and Look, I'm dying to see it finished. It was amazing. It just looks so she had a Rowan Kid Silk Haze with, I think it was a Jamieson and Smith Shetland. I've got a funny feel. It was and it was glorious. It's just going to look glorious.
Oh, there's just so many beautiful
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But actually, that was one of the things that I was talking about yesterday with my daughter. Someone said their 13-year-old is virtually a size 16 already. My kids are all my size, not my littlest, but they're all my size, really, by the time they're 14, 12, 13. Anyway, I was talking to her yesterday, and I was talking about how. Now, where was I going with this? What were you just saying? I just
about the male and the.
Oh yeah, the male. Yeah, I was talking about how even if we have fewer things to wear, and even if we're making fewer things, when we spend the time and make something absolutely beautiful, and we were talking about how, in long times ago, when they would make these intricate embroidered things or intricate beaded things or whatever they were making,
smocking, all this
detail, but you would have less, but oh my goodness, they were so beautiful. So you just treasure them. And I think there's something about that really appeals to me. So you have a smaller, like a little, I like what, I can't remember who said it now. Someone was talking about layers, Carla. So you have this little layered idea, this little collection of layers, but it's all just quite beautiful. So you don't need tons and tons and tons and tons. You can have this beautiful small collection. People are saying that someone on Country Calendar had a beautiful vest on last night.
Yeah, I got phoned by my parents saying I needed to watch it because they were in Gisborne. You see, my family are from Gisborne. A avocado grower, I think. Yeah, I've got to go back and watch that on demand. I haven't had a chance yet. Now, I did see one come zooming past. Where was it? Oh, Cheryl is asking, are you still having the sale for Can? Well, it will depend on what happens, what edict we get from the Pulpit of Truth. I'm afraid, Cheryl, this afternoon at 4:00. So
today, it's when we hear, is it?
Yeah, so 4:00. So yeah. I mean,
we're dreaming.
I would really like a level 3 for the province, please, but I can't see it happening. But we need to wait for those announcements because you never know. Every now and then they've thrown us a curveball and we get a surprise. So once we know what's going on, then Claire and I are going to. We'll probably be on. There'll be a 3-way Zoom call with the crew after that, and then we will hatch a plan. But I have got scheduled tomorrow here on the Diaries Claire with me and my Claire with me, and then we'll be able to outline the plan of attack for everybody. So that's where we're at this stage. So then that way, tune in tomorrow and we'll all know, because we've got. I mean, honestly, I had TV booked, the whole works bigger. So I've got a few moving parts that I have to sort of shift. And of course, not knowing until, well, it'll be 4:20 by the time they actually get to the stuff that we want to know. So once we've done that, yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that will be good. Cheryl, bless. I know it won't get posted. We're still in lockdown in Victoria too. Yes. So so what we'll probably so the plan at this stage is that if we this is the working plan, we really undernard about whether we go into sale or not. And I just think it's just there's too many moving parts that we don't know. So once we know those, then we can fill everybody in on that.
Yeah.
Can fill everyone on that tomorrow. So that's where we're at with tomorrow. So that's cool. Actually, have you ever done? I haven't done this, and in fact, I probably need to. Have you ever done the whole unravelly? So, like, had something you don't like knitted, gone back into the wardrobe, frogged it all out, and repurposed the yarn?
I haven't repurposed it yet, but I've definitely ripped it out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have actually done something where I've re-knitted it. I can't remember. If I have, it would have been a long time ago. I went through a phase where I would buy things at op shops and undo them. But that was a long time ago when my kids, because I got a real kick out of that whole make, do and mend thing for a while there. And I was in the UK when they had that big crash. and 2007 or so.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of that going around. But I have definitely ripped out a garment and it's all there waiting to be knitted again, and I haven't knitted the wool again. But to me, would be hugely satisfying to do that.
I got given a book. It's actually at the shop, and I think it's called something like Make It, Felt It, or something like that. Anyway, the whole book. It's really annoying this lockdown because, of course, now I've got to move my entire library over to Skeinz, and I don't have anything at home anymore.
Oh.
But the book was going to op shops and telling you how you can hunt out garments that and how to identify garments that are easy to A, unravel, or B, will felt in the wash, so untreated yarn, and actually how to take those garments and sort of modify and stitch them to turn them into bags and all those sorts of things to create other items to upcycle and repurpose. So I sort of thought
that sounds like a good book. Yeah.
It's actually a really fun thing to do. And I have to say, the one thing I have certainly done, and I haven't got anything handy just here, but I have been guilty many times. And in the last lockdown, I talked about this in the last Quarantine Diaries, about my happy felting accidents, which I have had many times, particularly. And the one thing I can tell everybody here is Milo vests. When my kids were little, I had a million squillion Milo vests because that's all number one would wear.
Yeah.
And it was when they felt up, well, the way the Milo was constructed with that sort of quite square shoulder, well, they become handles. All you need to do is put a seam at the bottom of it and you've got a little bag.
A new project bag.
You've got a little project bag. Or my son, for ages, he had one of those. He just carried his Lego around in it.
That's brilliant.
Seriously, I've got heaps of them. They still float. Every now and then I'll come across one. Like there'll be one that's still, like there was about 3 of them, and that accidentally found their way into the washing machine, and they turned into all of these bags. Then I had I've got another bag, huge green bag, similar sort of idea. It was I've got a pattern. If you look up my Ravelry page, there's a pattern on there if you go way back, and it's called the Midori Tunic, and it was done in a single roving alpaca wool yarn that we had, and it's got a big sort of round type neckline here, then with shaping that comes out this way and a super chunky. I mean, I literally knit the sucker in, I don't know, an evening once in a bottle of wine, as one does. And of course, single roving, untreated alpaca and wool, and it happened to be a Midori green colour, and we had towels the same colour.
Oh no.
So I now have a green clutch bag.
Yep.
Which is what this turned into, a big green clutch bag, because I did exactly the same thing. I was like, well, actually, those can be handles, and put a big seam on the bottom, and
bags like those big old carpet bags.
That's what it literally looks like. And I put embellishments and stuff on the front of it, because I was like, I can't bear the thought of killing it. People ask me what the name of the book is called. I can't quite remember. It's something like Make It, Felt It, or Vintage Make It, Felt Style, or it's about, the book is about 10 or 15 years old. It was one that I had a friend who used to travel to North America a lot for work, had bought it for me.
Right.
And but it is certainly something that can be done. Oh, there we go. Samantha is saying she felted her Georgie jumper, and it's now the gardening jumper.
Well, that's good. At least it's still wearable. That's pretty good. Yeah, there's got a fair few holes to close on that one, so that's probably okay. Yeah. I've definitely felted stuff on purpose. I remember knitting. When I was doing a lot of traveling with my kids, and I'd come over by myself, and Brenna join us later and things. I made a bag. I put one of those big clutch. So you can do it with a felted thing. I'd knitted this thing, and I put a big clip on it, and I keep all our passports in it, so I could dump it in my big baby bag, and all I had to do was reach in and grab this thing. And I just knew that had all the passports. I had that for years and years. I loved that thing. You have to be, if you are going into the op shop and looking for woolen garments, now someone's saying they're difficult to find. And I have to say it's probably been a good 8 years or more since I've actually looked for any. But I have got quite a good stash. from years ago, mostly from England. But you have to be careful which ones you buy because some just won't unravel. Depends on how they're seamed and whatnot. But the other thing I have got, the reason I still have quite a lot is because I made dolls with them too. And so you can make, I can make Waldorf dolls, and you use the wool for the bodies, and they're just absolutely beautiful because you can make all manner of coloured dolls, and then you get your fantastic wool to do the hair with them, and they look just beautiful, and stuff them with wool. So we've got quite a few of those around here as well.
Yeah, it's just about, now it's not that I'm trying to actually prep everybody that this is what we're going to have to resort to do from our own stashes, because we're not going to be able to get yarn to you. But, it's always it's good to be prepared.
It is, but it's also really fun to just let your creativity loose and just say, what can I do with this? And I have to say, those years when I did a lot of just having an absolute blast, just making stuff, whether it was sewing or knitting or whatever, for my kids. Mostly it was for my kids. It didn't really matter. I just would have just such a good time cutting up T-shirts, turning them into mini skirts. Or I remember I made myself a top out of all Mr. Myrtle's old business shirts, and I just would cut them all up and made this funky little top. It's so much fun just to let it go, and it doesn't matter if it's ugly, because it's all just
look, my cousin, who is the one that is responsible for the dipping in the fountain of youth, she is really gotten into sewing again in recent months, and she's been repurposing. So she's been doing op shops and repurposing really good quality cotton and linen sheets.
Oh, if you can find those.
I know, and that's what she's been doing. So she knitted for Hugo for his birthday this year, because Hugo loves himself a big, sloppy, wide leg cotton pajama pant,
Oh, heaven.
Yeah, so that's what she did. And she had it in a blue and white stripe as well. And he honestly, since lockdown, he has lived in those suckers. I had to wrangle them off him the other day to actually get them through the wash.
Those are hard to find. Those old wool blankets, beautiful old sheets. Yes. They're getting trickier to find, aren't they?
They are getting trickier to find. And see, I've got an old wool blanket fetish. In fact, I'm going to just turn the camera around, because this is only
think the provinces is probably where you're going to find them. Let me have a look.
Yes. Oh, there we
go.
Oh,
yes, I can see that. Yeah, that looks very, very lush. Look at that.
Yeah, so there's a few up there. I've got them sort of, and in fact, when I go out and about with the best friend who's in Kumeu, and we go, there's a couple of little happy hidey holes out west that we go hunting in, and almost dollars to donuts, it'll be like, oh, you're not buying more blankets, are you? And it's like,
you always need more blankets.
Always need more blankets. And I've got dogs, so I need more blankets, trust me.
For our wedding present, my parents had they had this big old villa, and they had to rip part of the veranda off because to get replaced. So it was all cowrie, and so they had us made a blanket box out of this beautiful cowrie, which we still have, and it's full of blankets. It's just absolutely, I just cannot resist blankets from Scotland, blankets from Ireland, blankets from the UK, blankets from Rotorua, blankets from wherever. I just love the blankets.
Well, and I can't help myself too, because of course we had the Napier Woolen Mills here, and so they were one of the main makers of blankets. So especially if I find one that's a Napier Woolen Mills one, I'm like, I have to have it. I have to
blanket.
Have it.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to wrap this up, everybody. You have been an absolute blast. Thank you very much to the Quarantine Dairies Truly Myrtle focus group.
Yeah, the focus group. I'm taking away these
Truly
ideas.
Myrtle focus group.
Yeah,
watch the space. So thank you very much, everybody. As I said, I will be back here tomorrow with Claire, and we will have all the information you need to know about the sale and what's going to be happening with Skeinz this coming week, because we'll have a much clearer picture after 4 o'clock today. I also have I've actually got most of the week mapped out. I'm really excited. I've got a physio, Patrice the physio, joining me on Wednesday. I hope Glenys is still here. I saw her in the chat earlier. Glenys Pode from Marjacraft sent me those fantastic idea. And from that idea, I've got Patrice coming along to talk through things like RSI, strain injuries, and things from all the knitting and crafting we're doing in lockdown, how to treat it, how to prevent it, how to keep ourselves fighting and stitching fit. That's coming up on Wednesday. And I've got Helene from Happy Go Knitty on Thursday. So there's still plenty of fun to be had in the diaries this week. And thank you again, Libby. So as I said, wardrobetoolbox.com if you're wanting to get onto the list for the Wardrobe Toolbox opening September, and of course trulymyrtle.com if you want to visit or have a look at any of Libby's patterns for the rest of the week. So thank you very much. Thank you to everybody, and I will see you again tomorrow.
See you later, everyone. It was really good to see you. Bye. See you, Marie.
Bye.